Hey guys, this is Tiffany. I play on the PS3 as the Tiffinator, and today I'm bringing you my first video on DGN. So I guess I thought that I would just introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me. But before I do that, I just want to give a big thank you to Mark from It's Mark Yo. Thank you so much for helping me with all of my YouTube videos. You know, early on I was struggling a bit, so thank you for your help. And you know, thanks for playing with me on the PS3. I think it's been a ton of fun. I love playing with new people that I meet and a bunch of my subscribers, so it's been a blast. Thank you. And again, thanks for hosting this video and just letting me broaden my subscriber base. Well, like I said, my name's Tiffany. I'm in my 20s and I grew up in Hawaii. I think I probably got into video gaming pretty early on. I grew up, it was just me and my older brother, and I kind of tagged along with him a bit. I thought he was really cool, and growing up I was pretty shy and reserved, pretty quiet in class, and my brother was the total opposite. He was the class clown, he was a cool kid in school, and he had a ton of friends. So whenever they hung out, he was really cool about letting me tag along, go play basketball with them, and we grew up pretty tight. So if he ever was like, hey, I'm gonna go shoot some hoops, I was like, I wanna come. Or if he was like, yeah, I wanna go play Nintendo, I was like, oh, I wanna go play Nintendo too. So he was really good about, you know, letting me come along and showing me the ropes and all of that. So I got pretty good at gaming pretty early. I mean, I played, you know, the typical Mario Brothers, Super Mario, Duck Hunter. I liked that game, and GoldenEye. So yeah, I played a bunch of different games. Or when we'd go to my cousin's house, we'd play. We had a couple of neighbors down the street who had some sons, and sometimes I'd go over and play, but not too often. And yeah, just grew up as a tomboy, just one of the guys. So that's pretty much how I got into gaming. I'd say that I got more into first-person shooters around college. I dated a guy freshman year who was totally into Day of Defeat on the PC. So he'd always be playing that. His friends would come over, they'd bring their computers, and they'd just, you know, go at it. And it was pretty boring just to sit on the sidelines and watch a bunch of them just get together and play. So, you know, I decided, hey, I want to play too. And so I kind of got into that, dabbled with that a little bit. I dated another guy who was super into Halo, so I know that was super big when I was in college, and they'd always have tournaments going on across campus. The RAs would get together, dorms or floors of dorms, and we could set up, you know, team style, tournament style kind of groups, and just play for the win. So I got into that a little bit in college too, and I'd say that that's where a lot of my gaming experience has come from. So recently my brother just got married, so congratulations to him. He got married earlier this year, and what had happened is after he graduated from college, he got a contract to work over in China, which was pretty exciting. He went over there for about a year, and that's how long his contract was, and that's where he met his wife. She is from China, she lives in China, and that's basically how they met. Well, he extended his contract another year, and then they tried to do the whole, you know, long distance relationship thing, but finally they decided to get married, and he decided to move over there. So that was a huge change, super exciting, and I helped him pack up a bunch of his stuff because, you know, he obviously couldn't take a lot of it with him. And I think, you know, I got a pretty good deal out of it. I helped him pack, and so he said, you know, I can't take a bunch of this stuff. I'm gonna sell most of it, but if you want anything, you can have it. So I got a ton of stuff. I got like a PS3, I got a ton of his games, I got an HD PVR, and it was crazy. It was like Christmas, but it wasn't Christmas, and it was all for me, and it was free. So yeah, that was exciting. And we just had his wedding over in Hawaii, and I was able to meet his wife's parents, and let's see, I met a couple of her cousins and one of her aunts. So that was pretty fun just to meet them, be back home for a little bit. And more recently, they had a traditional Chinese wedding. So that was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me. I was able to fly over to China and meet the rest of her family and kind of experience a traditional Chinese wedding, which is totally different than an American wedding. I mean, I'd say a lot of American weddings are, you know, probably held in churches, or some of them are outdoors. Some of them are at courthouses, and you know, there's the typical let's see, like wedding party, like the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, and all of that good stuff. Well, when I went over to China for his wedding, it was kind of chaotic. It was kind of crazy, and I think that had something to do with I didn't speak Chinese, and a lot of her family, a lot of her aunts and uncles, and especially her parents, didn't speak English. So I think it was just kind of chaotic because I didn't know what was going on for most of the time. And what ended up happening on the wedding day is we all got ready at my brother's apartment, and his wife got ready at her parents' house. Well, we drove over to her parents' house, and it was like this huge entourage, you know, standing behind my brother, supporting him. And as we're walking down the block, you know, because we had to park kind of far away because we had so many cars. As we were walking down the block, we start lighting firecrackers and screaming and yelling and just announcing that basically he's coming to get his bride. Well, we get to the front door, and her whole family rushes out and is like, no, 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 you can't come in. And basically, it was a big show, a big bargaining thing going on. Her aunts would say like, no, you have to give us money and persuade us to come in. So he started paying them. He had to do all these challenges in order to show, you know, prove his love for her and show that he's worthy to marry, I guess, into their family. So we get up to her bedroom, and her cousins are guarding the door, and it was so funny. But they made my brother like sing this poem to her, and then finally they open the door so that he can be united with his bride. Well, then we all go downstairs, and they have a traditional tea ceremony. And they told me basically the tea ceremony is equivalent to the entire wedding ceremony in America. And all the uncles and aunts line up, oldest to youngest, and basically they just go and drink tea with the couple, wishing them, you know, a good marriage, a happy life, and all of that good stuff. And so that was just really interesting. And another thing that was kind of different for me to experience is the family kept giving them jewelry. So by the end of the tea ceremony, she was covered in bracelets and necklaces and rings, and he even had a couple of rings and necklaces too. So it was a crazy experience for me because I'd never, you know, seen one of these traditional weddings before. And then we all went off to a big reception hall. It was in this huge hotel. They rented out a huge banquet facility, and they had so many guests. they had to rent out a second banquet hall that wasn't even like right next door. It was like down the hall. And they had to show on a projected screen what was going on in the first banquet hall. It was huge. It was so chaotic, but it was so much fun, and it was such a great experience. You know, it's almost the end of the video, but if you want to hear more about my life, my trip to China, and all the crazy things that I experienced, all the crazy food I ate, definitely check out my channel, The Tiffinator, #1 at the end on YouTube. And I just want to take another chance to say thank you so much to Mark. Thank you for hosting my video, and thank you to the Divine Gaming Network. This has been an awesome opportunity. We actually end up winning the game. I go 53-4. This is the Tiffinator. Come play with me.